Well, it's the biggest fight in recent memory. It's just 11 days away. In between the personal attacks traded between the two camps, we've heard very little from Floyd Mayweather until now. Stephen A. Smith spent a day with the undefeated champion, and he talked about the fight, his legacy, and that he believes he's better than Muhammad Ali.
No one can ever brainwash me to make me believe that Sugar Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali was better than me. No one can ever brainwash me and tell me that. But one thing I will do, I'm going to take my hat off to them and respect those guys, because those are the guys that paved the way for me to be where I'm at today.
You don't believe that Muhammad Ali was better than you?
How? He only fought in one weight class. Leon Spinks beat him when he had 7 fights. They had never put a fighter in there with Floyd Mayweather with 7 fights. So you're going to tell me that it's cool to lay on the ropes and take punishment, let a man tire himself out from beating you, and then he basically fatigued. You hit him with a few punches, and then he go down and quit, and you want to be glorified for that? Absolutely not. Not me.
Floyd Mayweather on Muhammad Ali. Skip Bayless, your take.
I'm not sure where to start here.
I don't know about that.
I certainly enjoyed all of your interviews, your 7.5 hours with Floyd Mayweather Jr. I unfortunately read the entire transcript. I think it was like 17,000 words. Those are only the excerpts that we got on First Take.
Right.
Man, it's a lot of words. Collision of your words and his words. But anyway, now back to my statement here. In all of my career, I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much. But the way he just blithely scoffed at Ali's accomplishments, it wasn't just disrespectful, Stephen A. Smith. It was flat out blasphemous. Now, to your credit, you did go back at him. You can't. Okay, and to Floyd's credit, you know what? Early in Ali's career, he did get dropped. Not by Burt Cooper, by Henry Cooper in London. He fought him twice in London. And he did get dropped, and he got right back up and won the fight. And to Floyd's credit, later in his career, at age 36 in Vegas, Ali had been through war, man, the equivalent of boxing war. And at age 36, he did not take Leon Spinks, who had 7 professional fights, seriously enough. And he lost that fight in a split decision and bounced right back 7 months later, went to New Orleans. I was there and beat him soundly because he could beat him soundly. Now, let's go back to what happened in between Henry Cooper and Leon Spinks. Twice, as you well know, Muhammad Ali fought the great Sonny Liston, and he beat him twice, the great Sonny Liston. Can you please show me on Floyd's resume where he fought a Sonny Liston? Anybody in Sonny Liston's class? Because I don't see anybody. I'm sorry. And then let's just go to Joe Frazier right away here. 3 times, lost the first one, obviously, won the next 2. These were epic fights, all 3 of them. Can you please show me one Joe Frazier on Floyd's resume anywhere in his ring record? Just one. If you could show me one, I'll say you got me on that guy. But man, I'm looking at De La Hoya at age 34 and Shane Mosley at age 38. Cotto at 31. I don't know, Marquez at 36. I'm not seeing a Joe Frazier. I'll even throw a Ken Norton in there. We know Ken Norton Jr. from football, but those of my age range, his father could box because in the first,
except against Foreman. But go ahead.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's
except
true.
Against
That's
Foreman.
right. Which set up
he was made for Foreman. Foreman destroyed him.
Okay, Ken Norton broke Muhammad Ali's jaw in the first fight, and Ali had to come back and win a battle with him in the second fight. I was there for both of those. There's no Ken Norton Jr. I don't think anywhere on Floyd's pretty resume. It's 47-0. I don't see one. And then finally, we get to George Foreman.
Got it.
And this is the one that really threw me a curve from Floyd, because this is the one fight where I thought Floyd would say, because we all agree, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a ring master.
Yes, he is.
He is a magician. He is a chess master in the ring. And you don't give this man credit for rope-a-doping a man that we all thought might kill Muhammad Ali, like literally kill him. I know his camp.
People don't realize that they think we're exaggerating when we say that.
His camp feared for his life. For his life.
Scared for his life.
Because this man was just pummeling people, and it looked like Ali at this stage and age in his career, he just couldn't even stand up to the onslaught of this towering behemoth that was George Foreman. Now we know George Foreman's selling the grills and he's kind of happy-go-lucky George. No, they're not this guy.
That's not the George
glowering,
Foreman we knew.
glowering. And I would think Floyd would sit back and say, that was beautiful, man, because he beat him with his head and his heart instead of his physicality, right? Well, why wouldn't Floyd respect that just a little bit? He just dismissed it as he's glorified for that? Yeah, he is, Floyd. You better believe he is, because he should be. This is Muhammad Ali we're talking about here, and he just dismissed him like, he ain't my league. Really?
Are you ready?
Yeah. But Stephen A., put it in context for us at home, because that's just this, like, before you led up to that conversation. You got
here's the deal. I went to interview Floyd Mayweather. I was under the impression that I would have a sit-down interview with him. Floyd was like, no, bro, this is all access. Keep the cameras rolling the whole time. Let's go. And everything that you see was Floyd. And there was some parts, like, for example, when we're in the car, in his Bentley, what he calls his ride-around car, whatever, okay? Understand that when we were there, that wasn't an interview. That wasn't an interview. That was he and I debating, like going back and forth.
It was being taped.
I know that.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying to you is that when I was talking to him and they showed the part by the pool table and all that stuff, I'm asking him questions. Sure. But when we were in the car, we just two guys. He's driving me to go pick up his $190,000 that he won on the bet.
There we go again. There we go again.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're driving down there, and he instigates this conversation out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, I ain't ask you about Ali. Where that come from? And he just started going, man, please, none of them are better than me. And he went in like that. Now, obviously, I agree with you from the perspective, nobody is better than the greatest. Muhammad Ali is my guy. Okay, so I'm not even debating that. But all the points that you brought up allow me to impart my little bit of wisdom about the sport of boxing. Skip Bayless, first of all, the sport of boxing has regressed. Used to be 15 rounds when you were at that fight. It's 12 now. And guys used to come fight. And by the way, you had these rankings. They had to fight each other. And Howard Cosell, the late, great Howard Cosell, Wild World of Sports. You had these guys ranked in the top 10, literally fighting one another. And you saw it. Pay-per-view took over boxing now. So it's more about marketing. It's not about getting the fights that you want when you want. Why has the UFC elevated in the public's eye and mind over the last several years? It is because of Dana White. You know why? It's not just because of John Bones Jones or anybody else or Anderson Silva or Weidman or any of these guys. It's because you have a guy running the sport that gives the people the fights they want to see when they want to see them. That's not the case now. So when we think about a Norton, a Frazier, Skip, you could go back to even to a lesser degree, Ernie Shavers,
Oscar Bonavino.
Oscar Bonavino, all of these cats. I mean, these brothers was no joke. I mean, I'm a guy, Salvador Sanchez. People don't remember. This dude was, I'm talking about a welterweight, the featherweight division moving on up. This dude was on another level. I mean, he was going to go down as one of the greats until he had I forgot whether it was a car accident or what I don't remember correctly. My point to you is this. You have a situation where the game, the quality of fighters that are out there, we may not know because the sport is controlled more so by promoters today than ever before. Some would argue a Miguel Cotto, a Canelo Alvarez, an Oscar De La Hoya, when Floyd Mayweather fought them. It may not have been the equivalent of Ali Frazier or Ali Foreman, but coming into the fight, Floyd Mayweather against Oscar De La Hoya was tantamount. I'm talking about tantamount to Ali Frazier won or something along those lines. It was Ali not going into the Army, being ostracized from the sport, ultimately coming back, had something to do with it. A Canelo Alvarez with Floyd, with the way he was fighting and taking people out. Nobody was Foreman per se, but that was a pretty mega fight between Canelo Alvarez and Floyd leading into it. The difference is the magician that Floyd is in the ring makes makes those guys look very, very ordinary because he ain't sitting there trying to imitate Gaddy Ward, slugging punches, taking punches, getting hit by punches. Floyd is hitting and not getting hit. He's making you miss 4, 5, 6 punch combinations. He's more like a Pernell Whitaker in that regard. And Pernell Whitaker fighting Julio Cesar Chavez. You think that wasn't a big fight? That was a mega fight. But Pernell Whitaker's brilliance and his ability to evade punches puts him in a position. All I'm saying to you is, when you bring up these fights, I definitely agree. No, don't ever take away anything from Muhammad Ali. But the sport of boxing, what it is, isn't what it was. What it was, I mean, you had gladiators going into the ring. Now you got a situation where you got a magician like Floyd Mayweather that sits there and he makes it boring because of how skilled he is.
Are you saying there were potential Fraziers and Listons and Foremans lined up against Floyd, but he turned them into just nobody?
To some degree, yes.
Okay.
Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez all come to mind. In their respective division, in their respect, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they were, of course they're not Frazier, they're not Foreman, but that's because the sport was what it was back then. And these are heavyweights. That's why.
Okay, and by the way, to Floyd's point about he only fought in one division, what was he supposed to do, lose 20 pounds and fight as a skeleton?
I agree with that.
You know, like, he's a heavyweight. He's a heavyweight.
I agree with that.
Okay, so bottom line, would you agree with me this was blasphemous?
About Ali? About Ali, yes. I think anybody that takes away anything from Muhammad Ali is blasphemous.